The records are real, even this one, a letter with a return address from hell. It is midnight, March 19th, 1919, and the city of New Orleans is making as much noise as it has ever made in its life. Every dance hall is packed to the doors. Cafes that should have closed hours ago have hired bands. In the working neighborhoods, families have dragged phonographs to the windows. Somebody's daughter is playing the same song on the piano over and over because it's the only one she knows. The whole thing looks like the biggest party in America. Look closer. The doors are bolted. There is a shotgun leaning inside the kitchen of half these houses. Fathers are sitting up in chairs facing the back door. New Orleans is not celebrating. New Orleans is doing exactly what it was told. 5 days ago, the newspaper printed a letter addressed to the whole city. It made one promise. Tonight, at 15 minutes past midnight, anyone under a roof where jazz is playing will be spared. Spared from what? That is the story of the next 18 minutes. It began 10 months earlier, 3 miles from here, behind a grocery counter, and it has never been solved. Jake Maggio wakes before dawn to a sound through the wall, a knocking, then a groan. His brother Joseph runs a corner grocery next door and sleeps behind the store with his wife Catherine, the way half the grocers in this city do. The business in front, the bed in back, the day's takings in between. Jake and his brother Andrew go around. The back door has a panel chiseled out of it, a neat rectangle low near the bolt. The chisel is still on the step. What they find inside, the morning papers will describe in more detail than we will. Joseph and Catherine Maggio do not survive the night. The weapon is their own axe, found in the apartment. Nothing is stolen. The money is still there. A door, patience from sleeping people, and a detail with a long shadow. And their grocery is Italian, the kind of family business run on half the corners of New Orleans. In 1918, that community already lives under suspicion of the mafia, of the Black Hand, of each other. The police reach for old explanations, a vendetta, a family feud. The arrests that follow go nowhere. The chisel says otherwise. Chisels are for doors, not vendettas. Through the summer, it happens again. A grocer named Louis Besuma and the woman living with him, Harriet Lowe, are found slashed behind their store, panel chiseled from the door. A young wife, home alone, wakes to a figure over her bed. She survives and gives birth to a daughter 2 days later. An elderly man named Joseph Romano dies of his wounds while his nieces describe a shape vanishing out the window. Different houses, same neighborhoods, same door panels, same axes, always already there. By August, the papers have given the shape a name, the Axeman. Here is where the story becomes about more than one man with a chisel. Because a city that cannot find a monster will start manufacturing suspects. Louis Besuma survives his wounds. He is Polish, speaks several languages, and receives foreign mail, which, in the last year of the World War, is enough. While he is still recovering, he is arrested as a German spy. When that collapses, something worse happens. Harriet Lowe, dying of her infected wounds 2 months later, is pressed for a statement, and Besuma is charged with attacking her himself. He sits in jail for 9 months. A jury takes all of 10 minutes to acquit him. The Axeman's second gift to New Orleans, an innocent man, ruined while the door panels keep falling out of doors. Armed men now sit up, nights in groceries across the city. Families sleep in shifts. Hardware stores sell out of bolts and window screws. The police department is flooded with reports of chisel marks, of strange men, of noises in yards. Hundreds of them, almost all nothing. Grocers write to the papers, begging for protection. And the fear has a shape the city doesn't like to say out loud. Nearly every target is an Italian grocer's family. Immigrant families who came for the one rung of the ladder they were allowed to hold. A corner store, a bed behind it, and who now nail their own doors shut from the inside. Then, for a few months, nothing. The armistice comes. The war ends. The city has other things to celebrate, and it starts to believe the shape with the axe was a fever that broke. On the 10th of March, 1919, across the river in Gretna, it comes back. And this time, what the axeman starts, the city itself will very nearly finish. Rosie Cortimiglia runs a grocery on a corner in Gretna, just across the Mississippi. He and his wife Rosie have a daughter, Mary, 2 years old. In the small hours of March 10th, neighbors hear the sounds and come running. The door panel is out. Charlie is on the floor. Rosie is holding Mary. Charlie and Rosie survive their wounds. Mary does not. She is the youngest name on this list, and we are going to say nothing else about that room, except that what happened next to two innocent men began beside that bed. Across the street lives another grocer family, Orlando Jordano, 69 years old, and his son Frank, 17, a big, friendly teenager about to be married. Business rivals of the Cortimiglias, in the way of two corner stores on one corner. In Charity Hospital, investigators lean over Rosie's bed, her skull fractured, her daughter dead, and they ask, again and again, not who did this, but it was the Jordanos, wasn't it? Frank did it, didn't he? Her own doctor will say she kept answering that she didn't know. What comes out of that hospital ward is an accusation. Charlie, her own husband, insists it isn't true, that the Jordanos never touched them. The parish charges the old man and the boy anyway. Understand what the physical story requires. A 69-year-old man and a boy the size of a doorframe crawling through a chiseled panel a cat would have to duck through, to murder the neighbors with the neighbor's own axe in the exact style of a killer the whole city is hunting. The trial in Gretna lasts days. The jury is out less than an hour. Orlando Jordano, life in prison. Frank Jordano, 17 years old, death by hanging. While that boy is being measured for a verdict, the actual axeman, whoever he is about to do the strangest thing any killer in American history has ever done. He is going to write a letter to the newspaper, and the newspaper is going to print it. It arrives at the Times-Picayune in March 1919, and it is unlike anything the police have in the file. The dateline reads, Hell, March 13th, 1919. Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me and they never will. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. The writer mocks the police. He calls the dead victims of my appetite for blood. And then he makes the offer that turns a murder spree into a legend. Next Tuesday night at 12:15, he will pass over the city and he will spare every place where a jazz band is in full swing. One thing is certain, the letter says, some of those people who do not jazz it will get the axe. Stop and weigh this, because everything about the legend balances on it. Is it really him? The paper prints it either way. It is 1919, and this is the story of the decade. A local songwriter has a sheet music hit inside the week. The mysterious Axeman's Jazz. Don't scare me, Papa. The city has 5 days to decide whether to laugh at a hoax or bolt the doors and hire a band. When the sun comes up on March 18th, Nadafif, everything New Orleans saved the lives. That Carmen is full, the shatter the night missing. Here is the colder reading. Does not work on the one night it burn and every light in town and every citizen listening. The letter, whoever wrote it, had made the axeman always jealous. Famous, impatient. Famous and patient, because the quiet that followed was not the end. It was an intermission. August 1919. A grocer named Steve Boker stumbles out of his house on Elysian Fields with his head split and survives without ever remembering the face. September, a 19-year-old, Sarah Lauman, asleep in a locked house, survives. This one breaks the pattern. Not a grocer, not Italian. Entry through a window. The city argues about whether it is even the same man. The door panels had become famous. Now even the method is dissolving into the fear. Then, the night of October 27th, Mike Pepitone, a grocer on Hulot Street. His wife, in the next room with their 6 children, hears the struggle and reaches the door in time to see a shape leaving. Mike Pepitone does not survive. He is the last. No letter follows. No arrest follows. The knocking sound inside the walls of New Orleans, the one Jake Maggio heard through the bricks 17 months earlier, simply stops. 1:15 midnight, some night in November 1919, the dance halls close on time. The phonographs have come in from the windows. The girl who knew one song has learned another. The city that once played all night to be spared goes quietly to sleep, and the man it was playing for walks out of the record entirely. No one is ever charged with a single Axeman murder, but the story is not over, because 2 innocent men are still waiting to be hanged and imprisoned for his work. In February 1920, a young woman walks into the offices of the Times-Picayune. Rosie Cortimiglia, smallpox-scarred, her marriage destroyed, tells the editors in front of witnesses that she lied. The Jordanos never attacked her family. She accused them out of spite and terror, while officials pressed a name into her grief. Frank Jordano walks off death row, a teenager who has already been measured for a noose. His father goes home to die an old man. No apology from the parish is in the record. The Axeman never killed the Jordanos. He didn't need to. He had the city do it. So grade the legend against the ledger, case by case. The demon from hell? A letter no one has ever proven he wrote, and which reads, to modern eyes, suspiciously like a newspaperman's idea of a demon. The famous revenge ending. A widow gunning down a man named Mumphrey in Los Angeles. The Axeman unmasked. It has been repeated for a century. The documentation behind it falls apart the moment anyone pulls the files, and the modern audit finds no reliable record it happened as told. What the record does support is smaller and harder. A killer who targeted Italian grocers' families, who opened doors with patience and used whatever axe was inside, who was never identified, never charged, never even reliably seen. And around him, a spy scare, a 9-month wrongful jailing, a 17-year-old sentenced to hang on testimony extracted at a hospital bed, and a recantation that came within months of being too late. One more entry. The night the whole city played jazz and nobody died. That really happened. It is the strangest fully documented night in American crime. The legend remembers it as the night music beat a monster. The ledger records something less romantic and more human. 100,000 terrified people doing the one thing the terror allowed them to do, together. The monster, Thathor Chortis in Carmacalo, to refund the David Mooney. The monster got a soundtrack. The city got through the night. He wanted New Orleans to believe a demon had chosen it. Strip the letter away. Strip away the century of retellings, and the record shows a man with a chisel who attacked sleeping families and was never caught, and a city whose fear did damage he never had to do himself. The demon was better copy. The Axeman's real legacy isn't the jazz, it's the boy who nearly hanged. Next time, the most famous unsolved case on Earth, and the file that shows why it was never going to be solved.